On the day Lucas assumed leadership of the Grant family, he proposed to his arch-nemesis. He casually explained to me, "Emily has opposed me for 5 years to help her brother seize power. My interest in her is purely about conquest. You know I only love you." He loved me, yet forgot the marriage promise he'd made upon becoming heir 5 years ago. When I remained silent, he snapped impatiently, "Amelia, you're just my bedmate. I've already let you carry my child. Don't get greedy." Yet this bedmate had crushed Grant family rivals, tamed corporate dinosaurs, and tripled company profits. Emily didn't immediately accept his proposal, imposing a month-long trial period. During the first fortnight, Emily sent my elderly parents with health issues to construction sites, claiming they needed purpose. When I begged on my knees, Lucas chuckled, "60's the prime age for productivity." The latter half saw her forcing me, 8 months pregnant, into bumper cars for her amusement. My panicked call elicited his dismissive response, "8 months is stable enough. If something happens, we'll deliver early. You'll recover faster to manage my company." I awoke bloodied in a hospital room filled with packed luggage. His text arrived, "Move out temporarily with the baby. I'll bring you back after conquering Emily." He never knew our child died. Nor would I return, not after 5 years spent opposing Alex for his sake. Ms. Williams, you've been so cautious throughout pregnancy. Why risk bumper cars now? Ethan asked reproachfully. His intern Sophie blurted, "The baby boy was half delivered on impact when we—" "Sophie!" Ethan barked before gently advising, "Stay calm to avoid hemorrhaging." "And Mr. Grant's people." My bitter smile reassured him. "You're not at fault. He's preoccupied elsewhere." Memories flashed, Emily ramming her bumper car into mine at full speed, eyes blazing with vengeance. "Think you're so clever, Amelia? You cost Nate the family leadership. Let's see you scheme your way out now." Bound to the steering wheel, I desperately dodged while feeling my baby's silent screams. Crunching metal, blood pooling. Before losing consciousness, I saw Lucas rushing in to cradle unharmed Emily. Post-surgery, my anguished sobs alarmed medical staff. After Ethan's stern warning about hemorrhage risks, I learned to cry silently. Weeks passed without Lucas visiting, though endless baby supplies arrived. I donated everything to maternity ward newborns. Stepping out of the hospital, I saw Alex Pierce leaning against his car. His tall frame was impeccably tailored in a bespoke black suit, his aloof demeanor making him seem unapproachable. Those icy eyes held no warmth as they locked onto me. "You lost," he stated quietly. My heart clenched painfully. "Yes." I forced a bitter smile. "I lost." Our rivalry had begun 5 years earlier when Lucas, the former playboy heir of the Grant family, suddenly became ruthless in business. Against all odds, he'd snatched several projects Alex had considered guaranteed wins. When Alex traced the mastermind behind these maneuvers to me, he'd thrown a blank check and a list of committee appointments at my feet. "Name your price for loyalty," he'd demanded. I'd shredded both offers contemptuously, sparking 5 years of corporate warfare between us. Then, 1 year ago, he'd reappeared with strange intensity in his gaze. "Amelia," he'd said, using my full name like a challenge. "Why waste your brilliance on mediocrity? Stand with me, and I'll make you the most revered woman in Harbor City." Exhausted from propping up Lucas's rise to power, I'd made my gamble. When Lucas secured control of the Grant Empire, he'd propose to me. If not, I'd surrender myself to Alex's designs. To accelerate the timeline, I'd even persuaded Alex to covertly assist me, a concession he'd surprisingly granted, compressing years of struggle into 12 months. The night Lucas became head of the Grant family, he transformed Meadowbrook Estate into a proposal wonderland. Trembling in my wedding gown, I'd stood clutching my pregnant belly, believing every sacrifice had been worth it until I watched him kneel before Emily, his lifelong rival. Emily, the woman who'd once had her thugs break my fingers so severely I still couldn't hold a pen, who'd bribed my housekeeper to drug me and leak compromising photos nationwide, who'd nearly forced miscarriage tea down my throat when she discovered my pregnancy. I don't remember driving home. Lucas didn't return until next morning, finding me hollow-eyed on the sofa. "Amy," he murmured, pulling me into an embrace that no longer felt familiar. She always looked down on me growing up with Nate. Now I control the Grants. Soon Nate will beg for scraps from my table. I needed to claim her before destroying her. His fingers brushed my cheek. "You understand, don't you?" When I begged him to abandon this vendetta for our child's sake, he stiffened. "I'm letting you keep the baby," he said coldly. "What more do you want? Stop being unreasonable. How many women out there are throwing themselves at me? Have I ever been tempted? My decision is final. Don't waste your breath with these pathetic arguments. Amelia, never forget, you're just another woman clinging to a man's shadow for survival." He turned and walked away without looking back. I stared at his retreating figure like mist obscuring blossoms, feeling like a used tool discarded after serving its purpose. My supposedly guaranteed victory had crumbled. When I turned to Alexander Pierce again, my gaze turned arctic. "Give me a week to settle personal matters." He tossed me a phone, smirking. "I always collect debts. In 7 days. Either fulfill your promise, or watch the Williams family and the Grants vanish from Harbor City forever." The taxi dropped me at Grant construction site. Emily had demanded a month-long trial period after Lucas' marriage proposal, 4 weeks where she channeled all her bitterness into tormenting me. My aging parents now labored here under her no freeloaders decree. Barging into Lucas' office, I found him locked in a passionate kiss with Emily. He glared at the interruption, swallowing the acid in my throat. I demanded, "You promised to care for my parents. How could you send them to this hellhole?" Emily sneered. "The Grants don't carry dead weight." Lucas lit up like Christmas morning, sweeping her into a spin. "You're finally prioritizing our family. That K-store ring you wanted? It's yours tonight." K-store ring. My nails drew blood as I remembered sending him that exact ring's photo years ago. "You'll slip this on my finger when you propose," he'd vowed. Now I stood frozen as Emily shoved him petulantly. "Who runs this family?" "You will, sweetheart." Lucas fawned before grabbing my arm. "Beg her, Amy. She's merciful." My voice cracked. "You want me to kneel to her?" His eyes hardened. "Need I remind you who signs the hospital forms when you deliver our child?" I sank to my knees. Emily rested her designer heel on my shoulder, patting my cheek like a disobedient puppy. "Amelia Williams. How the mighty have fallen. However, I never said kneeling would make me spare your parents." Lucas pinched her nose playfully, his eyes crinkling with affection. "Cheeky." He turned to me, the warmth vanishing from his expression. 60 is the perfect age to work hard. Consider this free gym membership for your parents. Amelia, don't forget who controls Grant Enterprises now." Oh, I remembered. The day he'd ascended as head of the Grant family. I'd severed all ties with the corporation myself, a decision made from blind trust. My chest tightened. My parents had been laboring at that construction site for over a month. Were their bodies holding up? My phone buzzed. Lucas' message glowed on the screen. "Amy, did you receive the baby supplies? Emily has moved into the manor. After discharge, take the twins to the maternity retreat. Send me the address once settled. I'll visit when I can." I ejected the SIM card and hurled the device out the window. The construction site revealed horrors that stopped my breath. My father's bent frame trembled under twin sacks of cement, whip-wielding foreman barking at his heels. My mother, my elegant, piano-teaching mother, was being jeered at by laborers demanding she dance. These were the pillars who'd sheltered me from childhood storms. Now crumbling because of me. I didn't wait for the enforcers I'd summoned. Grabbing a brick, I smashed it across the groping hand reaching for Mother. The man's scream scattered seagulls. Back off! I positioned myself between Mother and the advancing crew. One thug cracked his knuckles. Bitch wants to play hero? A shorter worker tugged his sleeve. Jake. That's the Grant Patriarch's woman. The leader spat at my feet. Open your eyes. Who ordered us to care for these fossils? Emily runs the show now. His leer spread through the group. Let's give this uppity cunt what she deserves. The future misses. Grant will reward us well. Arctic fury radiated from my core. Touch me. I hissed. And I'll exterminate your bloodlines. The cold-faced Reaper's reputation preceded me. The crew faltered until steel-capped boots crunched gravel behind us. Amelia. Came that velvet baritone I'd hated for a decade. Still picking fights with construction workers? Alex adjusted his Armani cufflinks. His smile all shark's teeth. Gentlemen. Do you know whose shipping empire handles your paychecks? The color drained from their faces. These men couldn't afford to gamble their families' livelihoods in corporate crossfire. As the crew scattered, Alex tossed me a disinfectant wipe. You're bleeding. I stared at the crimson trickling down my arm, the adrenaline crash making me lightheaded. In this humiliating moment, my salvation came not from Lucas, but from the rival who'd tried to bankrupt me 3 times over. Lucas fell into deep thought, whispering instructions to his associates. Then we reached a stalemate. Half an hour later, an eerily familiar voice cut through the tension. Who dares cause trouble on Grant family's turf? I turned to see Lucas entering with Emily flanked by a dozen bodyguards. His brow furrowed upon spotting me. Amy? Shouldn't you be at the postpartum care center with our child? The instigator named Siengu scrambled forward with fabricated concern. Mr. Grant. This woman attacked our workers while claiming to be the true head of Grant Enterprises. We've only ever recognized your authority. Emily pouted dramatically, tugging Lucas' sleeve. See what happens when you keep indulging her? Lucas' expression darkened as he coldly addressed me. You'll answer for this. Amelia. An eye for an eye seems fair. His words stabbed through me. So alien compared to the man who'd once vowed. When I lead the Grant family, I'll shield you from any storm even if you tear the sky itself. The crash of metal snapped me from my memories. Amelia. Look out! My father's warning came too late. I whirled to see him collapse. Blood streaming from his temple. Kneeling beside him with trembling hands. I barely registered Emily's venomous whisper. Did you really think those kidnappers found you by accident? That your drink got spiked coincidentally? That miscarriage-inducing pills appeared in your vitamins magically? You've always been Lucas' pawn, and my favorite plaything. Watching you two destroy each other? Delicious. Before I could process this, Emily grabbed my arm and theatrically fell. Lucas! I only wanted to check her father's injuries. He chose to work construction himself. Why does Amelia hate me so? Lucas' boot connected with my ribs before I could speak. You've forgotten your place. Amelia. He nodded to his guards. String her up. Chaos erupted as a panicked man burst in. Mr. Grant. There's an army outside, thousands armed with axes. The doors exploded inward. A broad-shouldered man approached me with military precision. Miss Williams. I'm Ryan, your new head of security. Swallowing grief. I issued crisp orders. Get my parents to Mercy General. Then, my gaze swept over the traitors. We settle accounts. Lucas stared at the unfolding coup. Who are these people? Amelia? Are you truly betraying me like Emily warned? What will our children think of us in the future? I never imagined 5 years of wholehearted devotion couldn't withstand Emily's pillow talk. Emily's words echoed in my ears. Around Lucas. The only person I'd ever trusted completely was him. Even the Grant family's staff and butler had gone through my meticulous screening. So it must be true. While I'd been pouring my soul into building his empire, the greatest betrayal came from Lucas himself. How bitterly ironic. A humorless laugh escaped me. Children? What children do we have? Our only child died when you let Emily drag me to that amusement park bumper cars. He stiffened, words slipping out unconsciously. That's impossible. How could you lie about this? Don't think I'm ignorant. An 8-month fetus is fully developed. Even premature. It could have survived. My lips parted soundlessly, stunned by his willful ignorance. Mistaking my silence for guilt, he issued another arrogant command. Amelia, send these people away. Kneel and apologize to Emily. Beg the workers forgiveness. Do this, and I'll overlook today's transgression. Crossing my arms, I stared at him with decades-old resentment. You'll overlook? Lucas. It's the Grant Corporation that should worry about my reckoning now. Emily tugged his sleeve with theatrical sniffles. Lucas. This is all my fault. I never realized Amelia had been secretly building her own empire using your resources. I'll apologize properly so she stops threatening your company. She bit her quivering lip, feigning humiliation as she pretended to kneel. Lucas immediately caught her. Emily, you'll break my heart doing this. He turned to glare at me. Keep this up, Amelia, and I'll truly discard you. Any child of ours would remain unrecognized, nothing but a bastard for the world to scorn. Watching his puppet like obedience to Emily, sudden clarity washed over me. 5 years ago, I'd found him shivering outside my doorstep. They cast me out, he'd said with wounded doe eyes. I'm not dangerous. Just one night? His vulnerability awakened my protective instincts. He spun tales of greedy relatives, an abusive elder brother, neglectful parents. He'd appear weekly with fresh bruises until I finally snapped. If you're entitled to that inheritance, fight for it. Blushing furiously, he'd stammered. Amy, what if I only want ordinary happiness with you? I fell completely, defying my family to become his strategist. Lucas. Trust me. I'll help you reclaim everything. Tears shimmered in his eyes then. When I lead the Grants, Amy, I'll propose properly. You'll be my only. How naive I'd been. For 5 years, I'd schemed for him while remaining defenseless against his charms. The unambitious playboy had outmaneuvered me all along. At this moment, I stared at him with eyes devoid of emotion. Lucas. There's no child anymore. I won't let you off easy today either. Ryan approached me, bowing slightly. Amy, let the staff handle the rest. I'll escort you out first. Alex's men know their job, I replied, worried about my parents. I followed Ryan's lead. Behind us, an icy voice commanded attack. The air filled with agonized screams and Lucas' furious roar. Amelia, don't you dare walk away. Explain this. We rushed to the hospital where my father lay bandaged. Seeing my parents' haggard faces, tears welled up. Mother pulled me close. Silly girl. Why cry? Father sighed. We live and learn. Our family's intact, that's what matters. Relieved by their resilience, I warned them, a storm's brewing in Harbor City. I'm arranging your departure overseas. Mother hesitated. Amy, maybe let it go? We're unharmed. Don't fight them. I'm past the point of choice. I confessed. Someone wants me dead. Until Emily and the Grants are dealt with, none of us are safe. Dialing Alex. I demanded, secure my parents first. Already arranging their flight. He answered instantly. After calculated silence, his voice turned arctic. 6 days left. I laughed bitterly. What if I break our deal? Just destroy the Grants yourself? His chuckle chilled me. You misheard yesterday. My exact words were, "Destroy the Grants and you." Hanging up. I muttered, "Ruthless bastard." Working with him means getting squeezed dry. Meanwhile at Grant construction site, Lucas and Emily emerged with arm gashes despite worker protection. At the hospital pharmacy, nurses whispered, "Mr. Grant dotes on Miss Smith so." Just a scratch, and he summoned every surgeon. "Remember last month? She had menstrual cramps and he hospitalized her for a week. Doctors had to check her hourly. Unlike that girl next door who nearly died miscarrying. Her husband never showed. Different fates." Huh? The words struck like knives. All this time I'd grieved our lost child, while Lucas hovered nearby, comforting his mistress' phantom pains. For 2 whole weeks. Lucas hadn't bothered to visit me once. I turned and collided head-on with Lucas. Our eyes met. His expression faltering momentarily. When I tried to brush past him coldly, he grabbed my arm. Eyes blazing. "Amelia, don't you think you owe me an explanation for today's events?" I scoffed. "Explanation?" Wrenching my arm free. I spat. "Why don't you tell me instead? Lucas? How did I get kidnapped from the Grant family fortress where even flies couldn't escape? How did that perfectly vetted butler you chose drug me and take those compromising photos? Why did the prenatal specialist you so thoughtfully arranged serve me abortion tea?" He flinched, complexion paling, blocking my path again as I tried to leave. He pleaded, "Amy." I was testing whether Emily could stand by my side. She's Nate's right hand. Turning her would have given us tactical advantage. Everything I did was to protect you. His audacity turned my stomach. My silence made him press harder, falling back on old patterns where empty platitudes could melt my anger. Emboldened, he made grotesque promises. "Stop this tantrum. Amy. After Emily and I marry, our children will inherit equally. Now send me baby photos. I need to see whether our child has your eyes or mine. Get psychiatric help." Lucas. Shoving past his stunned form, I raced to complete my parents' hospital transfer. By the time Lucas cornered Ethan and stormed to our room, only hollow walls remained. Panic clawed his throat as he muttered, "She loves me, she wouldn't." His spiral broke when Emily glided in. Cheeks flushed. "Lucas! The doctor confirmed it. I'm pregnant." "Really?" He swung her up, forcing cheer while surveying the nursery I'd painstakingly built. Emily nuzzled his neck. "You've already prepared everything for our baby. Consider your probation over. Let's get married." Lucas smiled emptily at the pastel walls, suddenly foreign without my laughter echoing through them. He finally saw love in Emily's eyes, yet couldn't fathom why it brought him no joy. He remembered Amelia's desperate gaze when he officially became the Grant family patriarch. That flicker of hope he deliberately ignored. The promise he'd made to marry Amelia echoed in his mind. Yet now standing atop his empire, he'd begun questioning how an ordinary woman like Amelia could ever deserve him. The day Lucas knelt to propose to Emily, he caught Amelia's devastated expression through the crowd. He shook his head violently. He wasn't wrong. Hadn't he promised Amelia a child? Hadn't he allowed her to stay? Shouldn't that be enough? Amelia's failure to protect their baby was her own weakness. Days blurred as Emily invented endless ailments to keep Lucas tethered to her side. The Grant family's board members grew restless, their warning calls gradually dwindling into ominous silence. When Lucas attempted to visit headquarters today, Emily clutched her stomach. "The baby's kicking again. Must you always be this dramatic?" Lucas snapped without thinking. "Amelia would never." He froze. How long had it been since he'd last seen Amelia? Shoving Emily away, he stormed out only to find her smirking. Corporate headquarters greeted him with eerie stillness, employees exchanging furtive glances where deference once ruled. Nate lounged in the CEO's chair, grinning at his shell-shocked brother. "Shouldn't you be pampering your pregnant sister-in-law, little brother?" Lucas' knuckles whitened. "What nonsense. Emily and I married last year. Nate adjusted his cufflinks. That child she carries? Your nephew. The true grand heir. Security dragged Lucas out as he roared. I'm the patriarch. Fists silenced his protests. Standing disheveled outside Grant Tower, Lucas remembered guiding Amelia's trembling hand through these very doors years ago. Rows of executives had bowed as they entered. Amelia's quiet strength steadying his ambition. Now empty pavement echoed with the truth without Amelia Williams' wisdom. Lucas Grant amounted to nothing. Everything revolved around Emily. Fuming, Lucas returned to the Grant family estate only to find Emily sitting there sipping milk like royalty, flanked by his former bodyguards. Well, look who's back, the prodigal Grant heir. Emily smirked, her eyes glinting with mockery. When Lucas charged at her, the bodyguard slammed him face first onto the marble floor. I gave you everything. He spat blood, voice cracking. How could you betray me? Love? Emily snorted, stiletto clicking as she crouched to tap his bruised cheek. You never learned. Did you? Even as kids. I knew you'd amount to nothing without Amelia pulling your strings. The truth hit harder than the guard's fists. 2 people had said this today. The old Lucas would have raged. But now he finally understood, his entire rise to power had been built on Amelia's invisible scaffolding. And he'd driven her away. These months pretending to adore you made my skin crawl. Emily purred, examining her manicure. But watching Amelia walk away from you? Priceless. Now you'll be the obedient dog at mine and Nate's feet. Bark nicely, and we might throw you scraps. You bitch. Lucas thrashed against his captors. Enough. Emily waved dismissively. Take him to the kennels. As they dragged him away, the front doors burst open. Nate strode in, tailored coat dusted with snow. Emily's face lit up. Darling, the Grant Empire is finally. Her smile froze. She looked down in horror at the knife protruding from her abdomen. Nate, why? Correction, it's my empire alone. Nate twisted the blade gently, his smile never reaching those Arctic eyes. The Ice Reaper Alex made it clear, anyone who upset Amelia can't be allowed to breathe. Clutching her stomach, Emily gasped. Our baby, I'll disappear. I swear. Plenty of women can bear Grant heirs. Nate plunged the knife deeper, catching her as she collapsed. I'll miss you, Emily, he murmured against her hair. But business is business. As Emily's eyes glazed over, Nate spread his arms triumphantly to the stunned household. Behold your true. Police swarmed through every entrance. The color drained from Nate's face as handcuffs snapped around his wrists. This can't be happening, he roared, struggling against a dozen officers. I won. The slam of a patrol car door drowned his protests. Outside, snow continued falling on the Grant estate, silent witness to ambition's bloody price. You're playing dirty, Alex. My parents and I were already overseas. I paced restlessly, my anxiety palpable. His outspoken apprentice chimed in. This isn't like the Ice King we know. Gathering courage, I stared directly at Alex. The Grant family fell overnight. Emily died. Nate's in prison. And Lucas has been treated like a dog for 5 years. You've had every resource to crush me outright. Why bother with that bet? He lounged casually, legs crossed. Reigning alone gets tedious. Tormenting you these years became entertaining. His smile chilled me. To earn loyalty, I must first break hope. You've been mine since day one. Those who touch what's mine pay dearly. The true meaning of Ice King crystallized as he spoke. Steadying my breath, I demanded, why keep me close? His enigmatic grin widened. Given your intellect, Amelia, you'd make excellent mother to my heir. Heat flooded my cheeks. 3 years later found him wearing an apron, balancing twins while pleading. Honey, Two's perfect. Let's stop here. I triumphantly waved a positive pregnancy test. Sorry, Mr. Pierce. Round 3. Since procreation's my job description, watching the mighty Ice King turn domestic, I laughed freely. The ruthless tycoon had morphed into my devoted golden retriever.